This is a first and second generation Greek farming family in Central California. Life was great, but it was filled with really hard work. At the young age of 10, Saturday mornings were no longer about cartoons and cornflakes. Not in our house. It was tractor driving, hoeing, or harvesting. There were 2 girls and 2 boys in the family, and we worked side by side. But the assumption was that the family business would not be gifted to the girls, but would be handed to the boys. I am the girl in this photo. Knowing that my family's business was not an option for me, I still sought a career in agribusiness. It was my passion. My focus was on organic fruits and vegetables. As a young mother, I knew that I wanted to serve my family a primarily organic food. But what I found was that there were very few local supermarkets in my area that even offered any. So it became my vision and my quest in my 32-year career to make organics affordable and accessible to consumers throughout North America where they wanted to shop. But early in my career, what did I find? A lot of negative messages. You can't. You shouldn't. Organics will never work. This is no place for a woman. And my favorite one, Vice President of Perishables stood up after a meeting, put his hand on my tush, and said, "This is a meat and potatoes kind of town. Got time for a cocktail?" No. So at that moment, I said, I do not expect or want anyone defining me in such a small and limited and restricted way. While all the time I was thinking, why stop here? That's a little of my story. Now let's bring it to today. Has much changed? Are young women and girls still being defined in a small, restricted, and limited way? This is a young single mother who is challenged in her educational level, does not have proper child care, does not have equal pay, does not have health care. She's here in Monterey County. Poverty is a women's issue in Monterey County, and women are the face of poverty in Monterey County. Fact. 25% of all women in Monterey County lack a high school diploma. And when it comes to Latina women, it's over 50%. Fact, 2/3 of women do not make a living wage or are able to afford proper child care. And fact, a mother's education is the best predictor of their child's future. Let me tell you a little story. I had the opportunity about 5 years ago to meet 18 of the most amazing young women from throughout Monterey County. They had created an all-girl-led leadership program called Girls Health and Girls Hands. Thank you. They talked about overcoming their struggles and setting goals for themselves and reaching those goals. And you know what those goals were? Staying out of gangs, not getting pregnant, and graduating high school. But for them and their world, that was huge. As a matter of fact, once they did that, they heard negative comments from their own family. You can't go any further, you need to stay home. As a matter of fact, one young lady shared the story of being accepted to a 4-year university. And when she ran home proudly to tell her family, they said, "You go, we'll disown you." So you may ask yourself, as I did, how in the world did you overcome all of this? How did you see yourself and work your way through all these goals and still come out of it? And they said, you know what? We had each other. We were our own support group, and we cheered each other on. And at a certain point, we just all looked at each other and said, why stop here? Why stop here? Well, the hair on my arm still stands on its end to this day, and I'm thinking, oh my God, their story is my story. Our story A story of a women's struggle, and frankly, in a world that isn't necessarily set up for success. In 2010, I retired from Earthbound Farm, even though I hate to use that word. I was the first at Earthbound to retire. And I knew it was time for me to give back, but I didn't have a clue how. So I started researching nonprofits in Monterey County. The good news is we have a lot of nonprofits in Monterey County. The bad news is when you're doing research, we have a lot of nonprofits in Monterey County. I had the opportunity to be invited to a Women's Fund breakfast. The Women's Fund is a field of interest fund under the Community Foundation for Monterey County. And what did I find out? They're the ones that originated and funded Girls Health and Girls Hands. The stories that morning were so powerful, and I knew at that moment that I had to do more. I could not just be a casual check writer. And just like I had told my younger self, and just like those girls had said to me, why stop here? So now, I'm on the board of directors of the Community Foundation for Monterey County, and I am proud to tell you that I am chairing a $1.5 million endowment campaign for the Women's Fund. Thank you. Myself, along with other like-minded investors, are trying to break the cycle of poverty through the power of philanthropy. Those girls, great news. 17 of the 18 went on to four-year colleges, from San Jose State to UC Berkeley. Many of which are studying programs that they're saying they're going to come back and add value to their own communities. And they're already asking, how can I pay this forward? It's amazing. If you think about what's happened with Girls Health and Girls Hands, starting with 18 girls, it's now 500 strong. And those 500, they're going to affect another 3,000 youth in the not too distant future. Just think how a path can change when barriers are broken and passions are pursued. There is a ripple effect when you invest in women. When women thrive, a family thrives. When a family thrives, a community thrives. Sorry. So, I just think it's important for all of us when we think about investing in these young women today. Not only are we changing their lives, we are changing the lives of future generations to come. We're going to break the cycle. So I ask you, what are you doing to create opportunities and make social changes in your own community? And then ask yourself, how can I do more? How can I be more? How can I give more? And then in your own life and the lives of others, ask yourself, why stop here? Thank you.